Hello, Pastor Kevin.
你好，你好吗？
你好, very good. So that has been a while from our last interview that we introduced to our audience about a pastor on the ship. And then you went on several ships, journey, right? Some of them with Hannah, your wife, and some of them by yourself. So where did you go since last time? Where did you go?
Well, since the last time, I went to the northern part of the world, the Arctic, Greenland, Iceland, Newfoundland, Canada, St. Pierre, and it was 21 days, all up into the icebergs and back down. And during that time, we serve on Sundays. We do the service or help with the service for the passengers. And then we hold on sea days, we do a Bible study.
Okay.
And late at night, we work with the crew when they're off duty.
So passenger was asleep and you work on and minister to the crew.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
That's the northern part of the Europe, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then after that, where did you go?
Then we came back down the Americas side to Canada, and we finished in Boston.
Mm-hmm. And then you went to Pacific.
Yes, we did the Pacific all the way down to Australia and Tasmania together, and New Zealand.
Right. So you told me you visited about 200 countries.
That is correct. 206.
Really? 206?
Yes, during my career. And that goes back to the military and pastoring together.
So how many countries to go as a goal?
Well, my goal was 200, Pastor. So I've hit that. Now I'm trying to get every country ultimately. There are countries like North Korea, Algeria that are very difficult to get into. I went into the Soviet Union, Russia, prior to this difficult time, but there's certain countries that are dangerous as missionaries, and Hannah does not go with me. I will be in the STAN countries in November: Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Pakistan. So I go where God calls me, and we're excited to serve Him in this capacity.
Right. So mostly, what do? You mentioned a couple of times. I want our audience to hear more. And what do you do on the ship as a service?
Well, the average ship now is about 2,000 passengers with about 800 crew.
800.
Yes.
How many pastors? How many pastors on the ship?
No, there may be one.
Ooh.
Just himself, and maybe sometimes we have a guest on board, like we did in Australia, and so I assisted him with the Sunday service. Sometimes it's just me for the whole thing.
Wow. So how many hours you're working?
Oh, it's hard to say. Probably 30 hours.
You're meeting people constantly. You're meeting people all the time.
Yeah, probably 30 hours a week. But my love is the crew, because passengers pay money. They come. They have their churches at home, but the crew is gone for 8 months to a year away from home.
Wow.
Yeah, and so this is important for them. And so I typically will invite or post on their their break rooms and things, that tonight at midnight we will meet. And one of the times, one of the performers, he was a trumpet player. He came and was there, and he had his trumpet case. So I asked him to play Amazing Grace for us.
Wow. Let's see the trumpet to start your service. Let's hear. So that's the beginning of the service.
Yes, and Hannah was there in the front row, and that night she gave her first testimony. and she's a little nervous about her English not being good, and we had 12 different nationalities in that room, from Nigeria to Indonesia to China, and they were really receptive to Hannah.
Wow.
And so both of us, as we go through the ship, people will bring things to us. They say, "Oh, you're the pastor for these 21 days. I'm going through a very difficult time at home, and my father's very ill, and can you pray for us? Or what do you recommend this for our family?" And so we do marital counseling. We help in grievance situations, and we get a lot of prayer requests. We had 2 that had to be taken off the ship in Iceland because their father had died in Thailand, Taigua. And so I helped getting them off the ship, and then we picked them back up in Boston. And then I did some counseling to make sure they were okay to come back to work 10 days later. So we pretty much do what a pastor would do in a church at home.
Right. Let's see this one. So this is another service for, these are the passengers, right?
Yes, this is on a Sunday morning, and we're ready to do communion here.
Communion,
And so one of the ladies was preparing with a song during this time, and then we get a chance to share communion, and the ship is very supportive. They give us any of the space we need. They provide us with the bread and grape juice for communion, and especially Holland America, very, very, very respectful line. They always have a pastor on board.
So you are conducting the communion service and with some volunteer to help? Is that what you do?
Yes. Sometimes it's just me. Other times, for example, on this ship, we had an Australian pastor, and his wife was a good singer. So we did this one together on a Sunday.
All right.
Right. And I even invited him down in the deeper area of the ship one night so he could meet the crew as well. But typically they don't. They know me, especially with Holland America. They know me. I've been on 10 or 12 of their ships.
So it's like you're meeting so many people, and of course the crew, you never expect what would happen in one particular day.
It's all different, and they sometimes we will have room service brought to our room, and I say, I'm sorry, but I didn't order room service. And they said, we know, but somebody told me that I could share and have you pray for us. And so the word gets around the ship pretty quick, and so and especially Hannah is so positive and so warm that they love her, and they confide in her, and they always come by, and it's a good encouragement for them, but it's also a good encouragement for us.
Right. Let's look at this one.
Oh, now that's all the crew. And
that's the you mark it as a prayer meeting at the night while the ship was driving to the Arctic.
Yes. And this is down in the bottom of the ship. You notice there's no windows, and this is where the crew lives. And this is kind of a crew lounge, and none of the passengers are allowed down there. Only the crew. But we'll set up something, and people will bring their Bibles, and then we'll have a prayer meeting. Sometimes we'll just take one topic like faith or the fruits of the Spirit, and then we'll talk, and then we'll pray, and then we fellowship, and I challenge each person that comes to bring a friend next time.
Right.
And so and like this is an average group. Deep in the bottom of the ship, like on floor level 0 or -2.
You can see so many different nationalities,
Yes.
and they probably come from different culture, even religion. And then they are listening to you. They have this common needs, the thirst in the heart, and they want to seeking some kind of a spiritual experience, knowing God and protection and all this. So that's a perfect chance to reaching out and serve them, right?
That is correct, and they're just so open. If I could ask Hannah to share what she feels because oftentimes on a ship there are 40 different nationalities. And you enjoy that, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, so Hannah, you want to say something in Chinese about this experience?
可以呀。
他们在这个祷告会，你也参加了是吧？
对，这个祷告会，我们都是在他们下班以后，所以大概都1点以后了，很晚的。就是他们下班以后，船上的船员一个合同就是8个月，所以他们一上船就是8个月要没有见到亲人，那在他们的心理上，会需要找到一个依靠。
是。
那就是我感觉最触动我的哈。对他们说 God bless you， 他们都会很感动。然后当他们知道 Kevin 可以帮助他们祷告的时候，很开心的。他们就互相传送。比如说这个朋友他需要祷告，那个朋友他需要祷告，他们就会约起来，然后呢，在他们下班的时候就聚集在底舱哦，他们住的是底舱嘛。那 Kevin 就会下去帮他们做祷告，那很感动的这种场面。
有没有听到一些祷告蒙垂听的见证？那当然就更鼓励他们了。家里来信啊，来电啊，觉得祷告
就是他们祷告过后，有的人会流泪，就是有得到一种圣灵充满的感觉他们就会得到一股力量，就是那一种。我甚至用中文给他们祷告。因为我英文不是很好嘛，我有用普通话为他们祷告，一样的，他们也是很感动，就抱着我，那种感觉就是，在我们心底会有那种滚烫的感觉。虽然我用的是中文给他们祷告那大家就是在那个祷告的过程中，他们也是会阿门阿门阿门，会这样子就是对，就是这种感觉，你会感觉圣灵充满的。
是。So back to you, Kevin. That's a very touching story about the prayer meeting. So, do you see their well-being being strengthened, their spirit be lightened up, and the prayer really help them to maintain their spirit and goodwill and energy? Do you see that?
We actually get to see it almost immediately.
Really?
Because they're so far away from home, and this is such a difficult time. And then they went through the whole COVID experience to where everything got shut down. There were 7 or 8 ports that they could not get off to fly home. So they lived on the ship for over a year with no passengers. And they went around the world dropping off people in Indonesia and some in Philippines, and it was a very trying time, and they bonded together, and some of them found Christ during that time because they saw how the Christian staff would come together in prayer, and I'm a pretty new face, but I'm known from ship to ship now. So they say, oh, Pastor Kevin's going to be with us on this one. And so they come and they introduce themselves. Some of them have come to Hannah because they hadn't met Hannah before and said, yes, we were with you in Singapore. And so the word gets around, and sometimes just an open ear, a kind word, a reverence to God in a short prayer means the world, means the whole day to these people that work 14-hour days.
Right. Do they have a Christian fellowship on the ship? Small group?
Some ships they do. On a different line, they have a Christian prayer group, and then I get inserted into that. Others do not, so we started. We actually started, and so we stayed very busy. We had a lot of sea days going all the way to 52 days we're on a ship, and so Hannah was preparing every day for the next day, and then she was also with our group from our church doing the daily prayer as well. So she's so committed. And people would come by and see her out in the lobby studying and saying, what are you doing? And she says, oh, I love the Lord so much, and this is what I do every day.
So here's Hannah doing preparing Bible study. Hannah, 你讲一讲，这是你在这个时候是干什么？
这个是我们参加我们教会的一个圣经跟学英文同时进行的啊。这个是我每天的工作。对，我有一本书是英文的，然后是关于学圣经的。那我需要把它翻译成中文，再去学习。然后呢，我让 Kevin 用英文读，我把它录音录起来，就是这样。我把每一天学一章，一天学一章。
那你跟我们教会是怎么可以同步呢？你在船上？
我们教会是这样，因为我们有个小的 group， 那个微信朋友圈里面弄个小的 group。那这个 group 里面呢，我们就是我也没有指定要我做什么，但是我就自愿的，就是把这个 Bible 的那个录音，让 Kevin 读的录音。发到这个群里面，然后呢，我会把这个用那个拍照翻译然后翻译出来，发到 group 里面，这个小群里面。
那你这个船上有 WiFi 吗？
有时候有，有时候没有的，不是很稳定。然后当我在没有的时候，反正我都可以学习，然后我就可以把圣经摘抄出来。它下面有这个是参考圣经第几章第几节，那我就把这个圣经第几章第几节用中文抄出来。这个呢，就等到有 WiFi 的时候，我就发到这个小群里面。是。这个我们坚持了1年，学了1年，因为一本书是365章。
On the ship, we when we're at sea, typically we hold Bible studies, and we did all the parables day after day after day and discussed them and prayed, and we maybe had 20-25 people and have some extra, but that was really a nice time. And the cruise gave us a full room. We set it up in an O, and we enjoyed it. And this was somebody Hannah was praying for, because she was kind of going through a little difficult time and wasn't sure if she was going to get a new contract. And now to see her smile, this is really cool.
你看她笑得多灿烂哈！
那就是要希望得到一个新的合同，是吧？
他们会有各种困惑或各种需求，有的因为这些crew这些员工都是青壮年的，有的是刚结婚的，有的是小孩还小的，他们真的需要神的力量，因为你在船上，每天工作很忙的，也没有找一个亲人啊什么的，那就需要一股力量。他们找 Kevin 祷告，有的就因为心里非常非常迫切需要了，才会去找嘛，对吧？
是。
当他们知道有牧师为他们祷告，他们就你传我，我传你，大家就会很开心的去找 Kevin。
所以需要是蛮大的，是吧？
对。
Wow, very good. So let's look at some of the sightseeing.
Okay.
So what is this? This is a Greenland.
Yes, it is. It's funny because you would think this would be more in Iceland, but Iceland is for the most part green, and Greenland is for the most part ice and snow.
Wow.
这个 iceberg 还是
Yes.
不是很大，有的更大。
We went by some icebergs that were bigger than our ship, and you only see 10 to 15% above. 85% is much larger, and that's what got the Titanic in trouble. We actually went near the route where the Titanic was sunk.
Really?
Yes.
So, like how many days you're on this kind of a scenery? See iceberger and,
it was a 21-day agenda, and we probably saw this scenery 12 of those 21 days.
And I guess it's very cold.
Yeah, it was a little chilly, but it was so exciting. And at night, I didn't give you a picture of the aurora borealis, the northern lights. But they would dance around the ship. Perhaps next time I'll share that with you, but it was amazing. So the captain would come on and he would say, everybody go up to the top deck. We're shutting all the outside lights off. And you could see the lights at 11:30 at night, and it was spectacular.
Wow. So this is another one.
Yes, we had to go slow around this because 85% of it you don't see. And so we had to inch past this one.
So when you drive by a port, let's say suppose you stop on the port of Iceland, how long you get off the ship? 8 hours, 4 hours, and
normally it's a full day. It's about 8 hours.
8 hours. Okay.
They will do a tour to different places. I typically go in and introduce myself to the local mayor. I help with public relations. We get the people off the ship and on. I always go to a nearby church. They were one of them had a choir for us. Another one had a funeral, and we support that, and we respect all the different cultures. I speak 12 languages, but I did not speak any of the languages up there, other than a little bit of French in Canada. I could speak.
So your uniform is beautiful. It's like is that your personal uniform of the minister or the ship?
That was on a formal night, so they asked me to have the same color as them, and then those are my military decorations that they always ask me to wear when we have formal night. And Hannah, when we're in a tuxedo, those are on the tuxedo as well. But these were two guys from Indonesia, and they were curious about Christianity because Indonesia's predominantly Muslim.
Right.
they're wonderful workers. And so we typically will have a Filipino prayer meeting followed by an Indonesian meeting where we talk an introduction of Christianity. And these are two guys that came, I think, the night before. And then they saw me and they wanted to ask more questions. And, faith, Christian faith is a one-on-one relationship, just as, and that is a surprise for most Muslims.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. And also I have a photo about maybe part of your duty is to greet the new crews, right?
Yes. Every port will have some that are finishing their 8-month contract, leaving, and then we have more coming in. So I think we're picking up 10 or 12 here from different countries. And so I try to get out there and welcome them, tell them about Bible study, and just tell them that if they see me around the ship, I'm there for them. So and Hannah does the same. And sometimes we're together. Sometimes she's doing this and I'm doing that. But it's we try to do this with the crew to welcome them.
And this is during COVID.
Yeah, towards the end of COVID. So this was in 22. So we still had mask requirements. And then halfway through it shifted. So halfway through, we were able to take our masks off and get to see smiles.
Okay. Wow. So you have a lot of work to do.
It's not work. It's we love it. We really love it. It's
they spend a lot of time and here are the chef team.
Yes. And there was a young gal on the left there that was Hannah was praying for earlier. That's right. It makes it special because we recognize them for what they do. We always write extra comments for them. I always travel, and I've done this for years. I travel with $2 bills, which are very rare even in America. And they all get, Hannah and I always give $2 bills.
Wow.
For service and for them when they go the extra mile, and they appreciate it. They really appreciate it.
You gave them $2 bill?
Yeah, we go with hundreds of $2 bills.
Yeah, it's like a souvenir. It's like a souvenir.
Yes, it's a souvenir. They say, "Oh, we won't spend it." Oh, thank you so much. So we're known for that. In Vietnam, there's probably 1,000 $2 bills. When we do mission work there. So it's just something to say thank you, because we as Christians should be generous, and so that's something that we love doing.
Right, and so you're meeting a lot of friends each day, and that's very very special. I mean, you never know who you're going to meet today and what are you going to experience and what kind of influence you will be on other people's life. And then this is incredible. This is very touching. So Hannah is meeting maybe two new friends in Southeast Asia, or?
Well, this is actually Morocco.
Oh, Morocco.
We're in Morocco in May, and especially the young people would come to us because we always smile, and especially Hannah. She's like a magnet to young people, and those two young girls spoke some French, so I talked to them in French, and I told them that we're Christian missionaries, and I know there's only 1% Christian in Morocco. But we're here and we love your country. We love things. And they say, can we take a picture with your wife? And I said, sure. And we did it on their cameras and our cameras. Here's a bunch of young boys that just wanted a picture. This was in the Blue City called Chef Shawan, and so everybody's camera came to me, and I took pictures on everybody's camera.
It's also
And,
Morocco, right?
Yeah, this is Morocco. And, you only get one time to make a good first impression. And so with the country being 99% Muslim, if they are this receptive to us as Christian missionaries, maybe we're doing a few things right.
Right.
And
do they know you as in Morocco, for example, do you introduce yourself as a minister, missionary?
Yes, we wear our crosses out.
Oh.
And so we basically, there are not many Americans going to Morocco or Muslim countries. In fact, we only saw them at the airport coming in and going out. We saw Chinese, and we would invite them over, and we would cook for them, and we got to minister to Chinese that did not know Jesus.
Right.
And so it's every day is different for us.
Right. And this is another nation. This is another.
Yes, these are Laotian from Laos.
From Laos, on the ship.
And that is their traditional dress. And I connected with him at a military appreciation meeting because they recognize the military. And I served 37 years in uniform. This man served and helped Americans during the Vietnam War in Laos. Wow. And so we connected very well. And then we got a chance to have dinner together and to share Jesus. And we saw them a lot, right, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, the four of us got together quite a bit. And so wonderful, wonderful people.
Yeah, so also you went to Morocco, a desert.
Right? Yeah, 这撒哈拉沙漠。
Yeah. Hannah was he wearing a local costume or local dress? Wow, this is incredible. This is whoo. And tell us a little bit what's happening that day, Hannah. 讲讲那一天发生什么了？
这个是在撒哈拉沙漠，那他是就是帮我骑骆驼牵骆驼的。我到了那个撒哈拉的深处，那我肯定是需要本地人牵你进去，不然你会迷路的，对吧？
那牵多久了？
那要看你时间买咯，1个小时多少钱？那你要买它2小时、3小时、4小时都可以的。
他就走2小时、3小时啊？
是这样，它沙漠没有风的时候是合适，是安全的。如果有风，它沙漠会变的嘛，对吧？那就很危险。所以呢，肯定你要到沙漠，肯定是需要当地向导带你去。那我就看了夕阳，给他买了1个小时到沙漠里看夕阳。这个头巾跟这个裤子就是在当地买的，就打扮。
Kevin 去了吗
？Kevin 没有去，因为他的脚不行，上不了骆驼。上骆驼他的脚不行。
那就是说，另外一头骆驼是这一位向导他骑的。
不，向导是走路的。
哦，真的呀？
向导走路，他就要牵着你的骆驼走路。那如果是一个团队，就是骆驼的绳子，一头挂在另一头上，挂在另一头，向导也是一个。我是就1个人叫了1个向导。
哇，好漂亮，这个。
出去还是见到不同的世界，真的是开阔了眼界。
是。
就是我刚才前面的那些照片哈，就是 Kevin 他很健谈，就是看到一个人就会主动说 Where are you from？ 他就会主动搭上，然后 搭上了以后呢，那人家肯定会问啊，你们从哪里来？他就会讲他自己的故事啊，就说我们会传教的啊，然后什么的，不管对方的信仰是什么啊，他就会先把自己说了。那有的人会有兴趣说这些 missionary 的事情，那他就会更加深入的去跟他们聊沟通，如何帮助这些人，这就形成了一种不管他到哪里。只要能搭得上的，他就会向他们传这个福音，就这样。
你觉得对你有什么样的特别的一个心灵也好，信仰也好，人生啊，有一些什么样的经历啊，或者有些什么样的感动啊，什么样的回顾啊？
我觉得很感谢神哈，赐给我这样的人生，就是在国内的时候，我也经历过挫折、沧桑。那单身9年以后，遇上 Kevin 是完完全全是神的旨意，这个我很深切的体会。那到美国以后呢，人生翻转，就是完完全全的不一样的生活。很感谢，就是在美国享受退休生活。
但是你在船上的时间也不少啊。
对，
最长是多久？最长？
我们在船上我们也是一艘船，最长的2个月。
2个月啊。那也不如，你也需要依靠神呢。
对，我就是跟 Kevin 相处以后哈，我们也会有一些不同的看法。那我们2个都会祷告。这一点就是2个人相处，现在7年过来了，我们2个相处7年了。那这7年过来，我们在灵命成长方面，我觉得很有帮助。
感谢主。
对，很感谢主。那在他相处，我们出去旅游，我已经玩了美国50个州和都玩遍了，然后也玩了60多个国家了。就我们坐游轮一起出去旅游，因为7年都在旅游当中。
是。然
后就是不管哪一趟一起出去相处，我都能得到一些成长。
Yeah. So here's another photo, and you're meeting some Chinese student.
这个是在摩洛哥，然后呢，
中国学生是中国学生吗？
对，这个中国留学生是阿拉伯语言的，刚好我们遇上了，然后那个酒店的老板娘是四川来的姑娘，他们就想念家乡的那个饭菜嘛，就是在摩洛哥一直是吃甜的什么的，很不舒服，他们就想念，他们是来自浙江的，有2个是温州的，所以是老乡，我就觉得特别亲切。那我就跟那个老板娘说，我来做一些东西给他们吃吧，然后做了一些粉条，然后一些我们家乡的一些饭啊什么的，做起来给他们吃，可开心了他们。然后 Kevin 就跟他们说他是如何去周游世界，反正跟他们一些鼓励，然后也讲信仰对年轻人还是有帮助，因为他们 Kevin 是西点军校毕业的，他就心理学啊这些也是很强的，对吧？
是。那他在摩洛哥这些中国留学生是在那里留学啊？
在阿拉伯语言学校进修。
不是在那里读大学啊，不是在那里读，就是语言学校是吧？
他是交换生。对。
哇，这个是。
也很巧哦，刚好是来自浙江，还有2个还是温州人，我们就用温州话说得很开心。
We saw a few Chinese groups that were there either studying Arabic or studying French language and culture, and so we would always reach out. You know, I love China. And so we would always reach out, and before you know it, one of our friends lends us their house and kitchen, and she cooks for them, and then we get to pray during the meal and discuss with them, and it's just doing ministry, what I call doing ministry on the fly. Sometimes you're not expecting what's going on.
Right. Okay, this is the final photo. This is where you're staying. You usually you will pretty much stay on the ship, but sometimes you take you landed in some country and you stay at hotel, small hotel, or people's homes. Tell us what is this photo about?
Well, in Morocco, we were there for 22 days with me driving.
Really?
And some of the streets get very, very small with cattle and goats. But this is what a typical home of about 1,000 years looks like. And it's called a riad. And we always stay in a place very small like this or in somebody's home. And we're the only Westerners that dress like they dress. And that opens things up. They said, wow, thank you. You respect our culture. You respect things. And they're more open to listen to us when we talk about why we do what we do.
Right, right. Well,
绿野的就像民宿2个字。
yeah, this is incredible. It's a beautiful story, and I hope one day I can be your short-term internship.
we would love to. Next month we will be 22 days in Africa.
Oh wow! So we would love to please take some beautiful scenery, and we want to share some because to our audience, they would go with your story and watch these videos and watch these photos and listen to your stories and share with them even more people. You work, you minutes on the ship, and then you share your story off the ship, you know?
Yes.
So, Hannah, 你们下一次多照一点很好看的风景照，呀。
好。
有一次，你上次是照了那个很深的深水里面的那种鱼，很漂亮的，跟我们的观众一起分享，就我们也一起来听你们的故事，也来感受一下这样的一种的福音信仰宣教之旅啊。我也跟 Kevin 讲，如果有机会有个短的行程，我也愿意跟他去实习一下。Yeah.
好呀。
So maybe, with God's grace or God's will, maybe I will be your helper to to go to the deep, the night shift to share the gospel and so.
Amen.
Yeah. So I appreciate it very much. And what else, as a final word, do you want to share with the people?
People all over the world are searching, and we have to understand what Chaldeaism is, and Buddhism and Muslim, but there is only one true living God who is there relationally for us, and that is all our hope. And that needs to be shared and continue to be shared around the world.
Wonderful, wonderful. 所以 Hannah， 我刚才请 Kevin 跟大家讲最后一句话，他的感受，你也跟我们的观众讲最后一句话，作为这一集的结束，有什么样的鼓励啊？有什么样的分享啊？
我呢，因为以前是没有准备要发视频做这样的节目，所以视频啊照片啊拍的不是很好。那我以后呢，我就跟 Kevin 出去就认真一点拍视频，学一些专业一点的东西，拍出更好的视频分享给大家。
是。
对，也希望在信仰的路上能与大家一同进步吧。
感谢主，谢谢。好，非常感谢，我们期待下一集跟大家继续的分享，非常开眼界。So Kevin, thank you very much, and this is very eye-opening and very touching stories, and I would pray and hope and believe a lot of audience will be also sharing this wonderful story with you in serving the Lord. So yeah, so by the way, I told many people that our church is a small church, about 120 adults, 100 people, 120 adults, and we have 11 pastors, including Kevin as a pastor on the ship. So we would love to hear from you next time for Africa trip. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.